Okay, so think about a syllabus that you usually get on the first day of class. You guys still get handed like paper ones that are stapled together? Okay, think about that, right? It's stapled together, you flip through the pages. Well, it's the same thing here, except flipping through the pages is clicking on those links. It's exactly the same thing. Everything you need is on these links on the side. I've put a little demarcation line here, because honestly, this stuff, for the most part, you won't use much past today. This is the stuff we're going to use in class quite a bit, and for your quizzes and whatnot and projects. This stuff is kind of like the syllabus day, which we would have done on Tuesday, which is why I sent you the videos instead. So you'll get pretty good at clicking around for these things. So Bree, she's asked about 3 awesome things. Make sure I got them all. First was working together in groups and turning stuff in. Secondly was quizzes, which I love. And the third was extra credit. So all that sounds like points, right? Points that you guys get to me that I grade and assign to you. Awesome. What page do you think that all lives in? Which one of those pages do you think that all lives in? Is it snowing? Oh my God. No, that's just stuff going off the roof. Sorry, I just got really pissed really quickly. Apologies, I'm back. What page do you think that lives on? Take a guess. It's one of the lower ones, I'll tell you this right now. It's one of these. It's on assessment. It's exactly right. It's on assessment. What does assessment mean to you? The word assessment, what does that mean? To assess something. I can think of something they should have assessed before this morning. Roof of Kenwood School's gym. Should have assessed the snow load on that bad boy, huh? Yes, maybe. What does assess mean? I like that word, evaluate, yeah, evaluate, look into, check on, measure. It means a lot of different things. In my class, for that particular page, it's how I look into your learning. And then it's also paired with how I assign points to where I think learning is happening. So click on that link. Let's go to it. Let's go deeper in the 90s. Yeah, more 90s, more text. Okay. So let's see, if you don't mind, Bree, let's just go through the 4 components, not just quizzes, but all the rest of the shebang too. You'll get used to class. I say this, Jordan. Maybe they won't. I don't know. Did you get used to? We got used to 105, right? Yeah. Yeah, you got used to 105. So you'll get used to class. It definitely runs differently than other math classes. So, for example, I want you to use the computers, Excel, the internet, each other's interactions on assessments that you do. You won't ever be in this class where I say, everybody shut up, take out a pencil, here's a test, and you work on your own. You can choose to work on your own on something if you want to, and you can choose to not use the internet and not use resources. You can totally choose to do that, but I never ever make you do that. I want collaboration. I don't force it, but I like collaboration. Okay? Also, many assessments, not all, but many are done outside of class and then submitted to Blackboard. We'll get into that in a minute, though. Let's talk about class on Tuesday. What's class on Tuesday going to be like? Well, hopefully we'll be here. We'll see. But if we are here at 10:15 on Tuesday, you're going to come in, and I'll bring these things called warm-ups with me. I would have had one today had we had class on Tuesday, but we didn't. So a warm-up is how we start class. It's what glues the previous class to the next class. I figure out whatever we stopped with the class before, and I figure out a little assessment activity for us to do, and I distributed that. And usually while you're working on that, I'm walking around handing back the one from the previous day. On Tuesday I won't, because I won't have one. I'll just walk around and check in with you all. At that point, you can work with the folks next to you. Sometimes I'll have you go online and look for things, look for information online that you have to find. You can work independently if you want to. It's totally fine. They vary in how long it takes. Sometimes they take 5 minutes, sometimes they take 45 minutes. I know that going in. Sometimes I actually use them as part of class, so it warms you up and it's part of class. When we're done, we regroup. We chit-chat about how we answered. Not everybody will answer everything exactly the same. That's okay too. You'll understand that as you go through statistics. It's not always x equals 2. That's not how stat works. Stat never works like that, as a matter of fact. I mean, it's like saying, what's the average snow depth out there right now? You can give me a number, right? If you had to pick an average, what would you say the average snow depth was? Give me a number. 2.5. Explain that to my crotch when I went through walking to my chicken coop last night and I went up to my navel. Explain that to anybody that's fished the Metolius River. Anybody fly fish the Metolius River and waded in it? Average depth, about 2 feet. Explain that to my waders when I filled them with water, when I stepped off a bank when I was ankle deep and went up to my neck. Yeah, see that's the thing, is that statistics doesn't have exact numbers. It's got calculated averages, but it also has these wiggles that we have to learn how to deal with. Good, thank you, Nick, appreciate that. So anyway, we'll regroup, and then you'll hand them in. We'll do those on paper and pencil. I was doing those via Blackboard, and students just didn't like it very much. They're like, oh my god, it's bad enough it's 10:15, you're yelling at me. Then I've got to log into Blackboard. I'm like, okay, it's cool. So as hearing from students last term, they liked paper and pencil warm-ups. So I'll bring them to class and we'll do it that way. Then you will give them to me, and they become part of your grade. Here's an example of a grade. I started, in last class, I started a little grade example over here. We'll go back to this. So your grade, let's erase this for now. Your grade is a fraction. It's already started. Right now, everybody is 0 over 0, because there's no points to have. You have an infinite grade, 0 over 0, or indeterminate grade, I guess, if you calculus folks are in here. So let's suppose you come in Tuesday and do the first warm-up. The denominator of your grade fraction is now 5 points, because each warm-up is worth 5 points. You will get 5 points on the warm-up. I think 0.01% of people don't get perfect 5s on them. They get 4s and 3s, and then I make them fix them and turn them back into, and then they get 5s. Okay? And each day you do a warm-up, I will add 5 to your denominator. By the end of the term, you'll have like between 15 and 18 of them, I would imagine. Okay? And you're going to get 5s on them, so your grade contributes thus. Fair so far? What if you can't get to class one day? What happens? Say that again. You don't. This happens. That's your grade. I don't count it against you if you can't get here. Okay? This is one of those discussions me and my department have all the time. Like, you have to make them make it up. I like that idea, kind of, except I don't, and here's why. The warm-up is a time-specific thing. It glues the last class to this class. If you miss it, doing it later won't really make a whole lot of sense, because you'll miss the two halves you were gluing together. If I make you make it up, yeah, I made you make it up, right? Except all I'm making you do is jump through a hoop at that point. It doesn't do anything for you. So I'm going to give you 0. Well, if you want to think of it this way, I can give you a 0 over 0. I mean, that makes you feel better, maybe. That's correct. But I just remove it. I just remove it from the grade calculation. Is that fair? I shouldn't say that's a stupid question. Is that understandable? You might think it's totally unfair, but it seems to work. Understandable? So each day, no minimum number, no maximum number of warm-ups. I had one student in 244, the first year I did it, he never turned a warm-up in. He always did them and never submitted them. At the end of the term, I'm like, Brian, why did you do that? He's like, I just wanted to see if I could kick ass without him. Okay, my man, totally cool. Now, they do operate kind of as an extra credit, and I want to come back to that. They're not extra credit. They'd only be extra credit if this happened, right? If there was a 5 up here and not a 5 down here. But they do, and we'll talk more about how they kind of operate. They operate numerically as extra credit, sort of. We'll come back to that. That's warm-ups. Okay, quizzes. This is probably the weirdest bit of the shebang. Who read the thing about quizzes and was like, I don't get that, or that doesn't make sense, or that just seems stupid? Okay, a little bit weird. A little bit weird. Yeah, I totally agree, my friend. Tell me your name. Mike. Mike, thank you. Mike. I think I already know I can't count him. Lisa. Prep. Bree, that's right. Damn it, you know it, Lisa. I got into math originally because I couldn't remember anything. Math is wonderful. It's memorize anything. Thank you, appreciate it. Warm-ups are nice too. Handing warm-ups out to you is great because it forces me to learn your names as I hand them back. It's really, really good. I try to get it in the first couple of weeks. Anyway, quizzes. So here's the deal. How many of you noticed there was a quiz due tomorrow on the schedule page? Anybody notice that and hate me for it? That's okay. You can hate me for it. It's totally fine. So if you look on the schedule page, we'll go back to it in a second, there is a quiz. There are actually 2 quizzes due tomorrow. Here's the good news. You don't have to do either of those quizzes if you don't want to. Quizzes exist in this class, and there's going to be a lot offered. I counted up last terms. I offered 25 quizzes last term to my 243 classes. You have to do 10 by the end of the course. But the reason I offer so many is because every student learns differently. Every student in here learns a little bit differently. Some of you might learn similarly, but you all learn differently. And to force you all to do all the same assessments ignores that fact. So what I've done is I've created all of these quizzes, and I'll probably create more because I'm me. That average depth with the Metolius thing, it's in my mind fresh because I was rewriting it in my head a couple days ago, so I'll touch that one up and re-upload it. But the idea is, if you open a quiz one day for 1 week and look at it and be like, I don't even get what this is saying, you can not do that one and just don't turn it in. But suppose you open up a quiz this week, you're like, I like this first quiz, I'm going to do this one. Okay, if you do that and you submit it to me, then I add 10 points to your denominator. That's what the quiz is worth, right? And then we put whatever you get in the numerator. What'd you get on this quiz? 10 points. What'd you get? How many points did you get? Make it up. 8. You gave you 10, but that's okay. I'll give you 8. It's all good. Okay. Suppose you do another quiz this week or next week. How'd you do on that one? Guys, you're hard on yourself. It's okay though. It's good. And we sometimes have in-class quizzes, which are like warm-ups. A little more involved usually. And sometimes I carry off immediately with in-class. They're still worth 10, and they count towards the 10 you have to do. And I guarantee you'll get 10s out of 10s on those, unless you just forget to do part of the quiz. Okay? So you see how your grade is developing now? Hopefully this makes sense. Your grade is developing as we go, right? Now here's what I don't want to have happen. Suppose you open a quiz, you have no idea what's going on, but you try it anyway. Well, that might work. But you might also do something like get a 1 out of 10 on that. And that just hurt your average, didn't it? Because this average, when you add that into it, the bottom grew faster than the top, which means it went down, right? I don't want that to happen. I'd rather give you the option of not turning that one in. And then maybe doing another quiz next week. The way I tend to schedule quizzes, I cycle. So like next week, the end of next week, I'll have some quizzes that are on what we should have done this week, but we'll do it next week instead. And then at the end of week 3, I'll have more quizzes on what we did last week. And then you'll have like 2 or 3 weeks where the topics cycle like this. So one of the topics we talk about is a central tendency. You might look at one of those quizzes and hate it, but there'll be more than just that one quiz on that topic. There'll be a multitude of them. You can pick and choose the one. Choose your own adventure, if you will. Pick and choose the ones you want to do. Okay? I require that you do 10. You can do more than 10. Okay? About 5 or 6 of those will be in-class quizzes, and you fill those out with the out-of-class quizzes. So what that means is you have to average 1 per week, right? 10 weeks of class. 10 weeks of class, maybe. 10 weeks of class, you have to average 1 per week. And the reason I picked 10, it was kind of a starting number, it seems to work pretty well. I know how busy your guys' schedules get and your girls' schedules get, right? You have term papers to write in some classes, you got labs to do. There might be a week when you're like, I just can't do anything else. That might be a good week not to do quizzes. Keep up with class, make sure you know what we're doing, make sure you're paying attention. If you miss class, watch the videos that are posted. But that might be the week you don't do quizzes, and that's okay. That's okay. If you do more than 10, they're not extra credit though. And here's why. Here's why. If every time you submit a quiz to me, I increase your denominator by 10. That's why they're an extra credit, right? Extra credit, I only increase the numerator. But here's the deal. If you're turning in quizzes and you're kicking butt on them, they act as extra credit just like those act as extra credit. Mm-hmm. Every time, and here's a nice way of thinking about it. I might make a quiz out of this actually. It'll be kind of fun. Any assessment that you turn in, if you turn the grade into a percentage, if that percentage is higher than your current average in the class, your grade will go up. So if you have an average of 95% in the class, and you get a 10 out of 10 on a quiz, your average will go up. There'll be a little tiny bit most likely, but it will go up, because that's higher than your average. Does that make sense? Pretty good. So not extra credit, but also not, it works in your advantage for a couple of different ways.
So just like padding it.
Very much so. I believe in grade padding, very much so, because I don't like GPAs. We'll talk more about why in about a week. I loathe the idea of a GPA and how it's calculated and how it's interpreted, so I try to protect it as much as I can with this. Is that cool? Now, as far as these quizzes, some are in class. The in-class quizzes and the warm-ups are going to be extraordinarily straightforward. You'll figure them out very quickly when we start doing them. The out-of-class stuff might be a little weird. Would everybody, if you won't mind, go back to the schedule page with me? And Bree, I know we haven't talked about your last question yet, which I think was working together with people. We'll get to that, I promise. We may have touched on it a little bit. So schedule page, take a look, if you don't mind. Take a look. We're in week 1. So the way the schedule page works, it's this big obnoxious calendar. I used a lot of reds and yellows like McDonald's, and I apologize, but again, 90s. You all are down a little bit. You're Math 243 later. That's your row. here's you all right here. That's your row. You're off Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we are in class Tuesday, Thursday, ostensibly. Okay. So when I sent you the YouTube videos, these are the videos I sent that were about this link up here. And this is the PowerPoint I was going to do with you whatever time we had left in class on Tuesday. We'll probably have about 10 minutes today. I'm going to kick you out of here a little bit early because I want you to get on the road early before everybody else and get the hell out of here. I don't want you dorking around with the other 1,000, 2,000 people that are on campus. So Nick, you're in charge. At 11:45, we're kicking you out of here. Not just you, but everybody. Okay? So you remind me and somebody back up Nick. What's your name? Kaylee, thank you. You're backing up. Say that again.
It's like Caitlin, but with
Kaylin, got you. I'm also a drummer, so I'm deaf. Kaylin, thank you.
I'm also sick, so I can't.
That's okay. I'm going to blame my deafness. So Kaylin backs Nick up. We're out of here at 11:45. Okay. Anyway, point being, whatever time we have left, we'll dip into this today a little bit. Okay. It's not intended to be something I'm going to quiz you on or anything like that. Just to get you thinking about statistics. Okay. So this is today. This is today. Now, it might look a little bit weird because it says what we did together and there's a big blank mark. And did anybody scroll through the schedule page and realize there's nothing, that what we did together are all blank? Did anybody catch that? Yeah, that seems kind of weird, right? It does seem kind of weird because one of the things I never do is hand you a syllabus with we're going to do this on this day, this on this day, this on this day. Why? Well, there's one reason outside. That throws a wrench in the works pretty quickly, doesn't it? It throws a wrench in the works pretty quickly. I've learned that to try to stay rigid, hi, come on in, warm up, yes. To try to be that rigid, even on a normal winter, is almost impossible, let alone uber winter here we've got. Okay, so I've learned to be a little more flexible with it. So we're going to have, this course distills down to 8, maybe 9 topics. If you're interested, you don't have to, you can stay on that schedule page if you want. We're going to be using this resource page as we go through the term quite a bit. I'll just show it to you. Here are the topics we are going to play with in this class. 8 and maybe 9 if we have time, which the way this winter's looking, we're not going to have time. That's okay. Those are the topics. My plan was to start with that today. My plan, of course, out the window with snow, so we'll start with that on Tuesday instead. And after we do whatever we do in class, I'll go back to my office. I'll update that schedule page, what we did in class. Here we go. So in other words, that schedule page will become built as the term goes on. So you can always refer back to it and look at what we did. If you missed class, you can go back in and look at what topic we did, and then you can go to this page, which we'll spend more time in on Tuesday, I promise, and see what there is to see. There are YouTube videos that I recorded from all my classes in each of these topics. So if you missed class, you can go check out. They're pretty ghetto, not gonna lie to you. It's basically this. I don't know if you guys notice, this is a drum stand with a bike crank arm taped to a cymbal holder. It's ghetto.